Good afternoon, everybody. It's Jim, and I never get that. How is everybody out there this afternoon? Thanks for showing up. It's a Train Tuesday. A little bit of a mixed bag we've got today. We've got some N scale stuff for this month, and we wanted to such a huge release. We wanted to talk about the SD70 ACU again. And there's a new video that's going around that maybe we could show you guys too. So everybody out there, I see Emmett, I see Walter, I see Nate. It's good to see you guys. Steve, welcome aboard. Out here in Illinois, it's kind of getting close to a certain holiday. How about you, Janek?
Yeah, everyone's talking about Thanksgiving and how it's going to be a little bit different this year.
It is going to be a little different. I know for myself, it's just going to be me and my fiance. How about you, Janek?
Yeah, I've actually got a Zoom call scheduled with my family. So
nice.
That's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be doing that, and it's just there's still a lot to be thankful for, though. So I'm not going to complain because anytime we can have some really good cooking and turkey and everything else, it's a good thing. And before we get to all that, we've got a full table today too. So
yeah.
Let's see, what do we got going on first? We got some N scale, don't we, Janek?
Yeah. Like we were talking about last week, we got those N scale. What are they? The flat cars.
Actually, I pulled a fast one on you. The first ones we got up is the N scale 60-foot PS Autobox cars.
That's right.
We touched about those a little bit.
Yeah, we already talked about the Genesis ones in HO scale, and about how this is a 1960s car. It's one of the first cars that was designed specifically for the automotive rail shipping side of things. And this car in N scale, it's a really nice car for N scale. It's got the separate roof walk. It's got all the inner body details, all the grab irons. I mean, I'm not an N scale guy like you, Jim. I don't know if most of this stuff is usually on N scale freight cars. I don't know, but this one's nice.
We've said it before too, but it bears repeating because there's still some manufacturers out there that do not do this. For one thing, we've got body-mounted couplers, and when you're operating, which N scale is finally starting to come to a point where you can actually do operations with N scale. Years ago, it was kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
But when you've got a string of these, the old Talgo couplers, the couplers stuck on the trucks, they don't do quite as well, especially backing up into a long spur or something of that nature. These are body-mounted. And we've got the metal wheel sets. They run really well on code 55 as well as the standard code 80. And yeah, like you were saying, I mean, the added details that these have, they really hold up really well in pictures.
Yeah, they really do. And some of these paint schemes are really eye-catching too. The 1960s was definitely sort of a resurgence of the big billboard paint schemes that you started to see in the 20s and 30s, like the Burlington and the L&N there with the cushion car.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the Burlington always had that really catchy Chinese red that they called it after 57. The Milwaukee Road, really nice paint scheme there. It's simple, but it's still eye-catching. And like you said, the L&N, that's real sharp too. So, the other nice thing about this is, once again at Athearn, we realize that, a lot of us do operations. And N scale, like I said earlier, is getting better at operations. So we didn't offer these just in one road name and run one number. You've got multiple
numbers and different numbers than what have been released before, so there's no duplicates.
You've even got a prime for grime here, Norfolk and Western, which is really cool. that's not uncommon. And again, that would be common, throughout the 70s. If you look really careful, I'm going to try to zoom in on this one so everybody can see it. But if you look real carefully there, you'll see why we know it's from the 70s. There it is.
Oh, yes. Telltale sign right there.
Sure is. We can't forget about the Frisco. The Frisco is a cool railroad. And
I always thought the Frisco was interesting. They were the St. Louis, San Francisco. They never got anywhere near San Francisco. But
yeah, that's kind of odd how that
goals,
ambitions.
Yes.
Railroad, but eventually they went a little bit further west, but not as the Frisco. But these are great boxcars for anybody out there that's modeling N scale, that's modeling the 60s into the 70s. These are great for anything that has to do with the automotive industry. Now, I think we talked a little bit about it last time, but these were mainly used for large subassemblies or parts for auto manufacturers. So it was not uncommon to see these going from plant to plant, say, Ford, going from plant to plant with different subassemblies or different parts. Or one thing that we forget about too, that, if we look at how our cars are assembled, it's almost like a city. It's like a miniature city, because you'll have a company that makes the auto glass on one section of the complex, and then you'll have somebody else making the plastic injected molded parts. All that has to come together into the main factory to get built, and these box cars were definitely a way to do that. So really cool. And I mean, like you said earlier too, these were not only are they multiple road numbers, but they weren't anything that was done before. So if somebody out there had ordered previous releases, they can just add on to what they already have.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. And you need more than one of these if you're building one of these trains. They were run together in large groups to carry the parts.
Most definitely. And I mean, an N scale, actually, you'd be a little bit easier to replicate that automotive industry. So if you're somebody out there that's looking for a layout and you really like automobiles and stuff, then you might want to check into these. I don't have that kind of landscape or real estate. I don't know about you, Janek.
No, living in an apartment makes it kind of tough. But, we find ways to make it work, and we still find excuses to buy stuff.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, too. Hey, I just want to give you a shout out, Janet, because I echo what James has said. I'm going to put it up on the screen here real quick. James says, epic shirt once again, Janek. Yeah, Janek has got a really epic wardrobe. I love, I've said it before. I always thought that was the coolest paint scheme that never really happened. But, man, pretty cool.
It's my two favorite railroads. They were trying to combine. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but, an interesting story nevertheless.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an interesting story. And, yeah, some of us probably kind of wish it actually had happened. But unfortunately, for various reasons, it did not. And while we're on the subject of shirts,
I was going to say.
Yeah, we see some comments out there. So, last this past weekend, I was with Ken Patterson on his What's Neat This Week show, and I wore the Canadian Pacific SD70 ACU shirt, and that I got some comments too. So, we're probably, I'd look at the first of the year, you're probably going to see the shirts that myself and Matt has worn, the Norfolk Southern and the CP rail versions. You'll start seeing those on the Athearn website. You can order them through your dealer. You're probably going to see those I'd say early next year or so. And we're not going to stop there. We want to hear what you guys want. What do you think of retro style shirts? What do you think of, remember the Caboose slogan shirts that Janek and Chris wore at Train Fest a couple of years ago? What'd you guys think of those? You like them? I mean, I'm not a UP guy, but those slogan shirts are cool. I'd wear them.
Cool. And there's all kinds of different slogans that we could do that, different railroads like Chicago Northwestern and Seaboard Airline, they had slogans on their cabooses as well. And there were other slogans that came and went, like the Conrail, keep it moving with Conrail. They tried to have that one
That's right.
on one locomotive. So there's all different ideas for shirts that we could do that are cool. So let us know if you guys have any ideas.
Yeah, give us some ideas. I mean, we're seriously looking into some ideas because, most of us, I mean, Janek, you probably got that shirt, I would assume, at a train show. Is that true?
I actually looked online for this specific shirt. So I kind of had to go out of bounds for it. But I've seen similar stuff at train shows.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you either see it at a train show or like a few, like if we're part of a historical society. I'm part of a few historical societies. Sometimes they have some shirts and you can get them that way. But yeah, once again, we still like to represent whatever our preferred road is or anything like that. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next thing that we have that's new, and this is, we talked about the 60s and 70s. All you N-scale modern guys out there, get ready to breathe a sigh of relief. I've got something for you guys too. We're coming back with the F89F Flat car. And this one, again, Janek, you and the guys really did some work on this because you could have just done the, here and now modern, but I see an early trailer train version up there too.
Yeah, well, this is a car. It's an F89F car, as a lot of you guys know, and we've done these in the past. This particular version, the XTTX car, as we said before, it has 4 hitches on it. And what that means in real life is that they could do different combinations of trailers, either 3 pup trailers, 3 28-footers, or in the case that you see here, it's set up for either 2 40-footers, or I think 145 and 140 foot. So it was versatility being the name of the game with these XTTX cars. And as you see, we got the brown versions, which is the original versions, and then we got the yellow, which is a later repaint. And a lot of the brown ones lasted a long time into the 70s too, so they weren't all repainted at the same time.
I was amazed at the detail in these. In fact, I've got some pictures. I'm going to go ahead and put those up. Briefly before I take this down, once again, they're offered, you can see here, they're offered in multiple road numbers so that you can make up a nice train. Mm-hmm. And definitely keep an eye out for Athearn for the trailers that we'll offer on N scale. We actually have a few of the F89F with a trailer. I think it's a 45-foot trailer. They're in stock right now on our website. So if you're interested in one of these right now, contact your dealer. If you don't have a dealer, see what your preferred online retailer is. If you still can't find anybody, you can always go to athearn.com and get them there. There's a few of these left. So if you're looking for some N-scale trailers and some flat cars, definitely check those out. So move this real quick. And let's get some pictures of this because, as you said before, I'm an N-scale guy. I've been doing N-scale mainly because I've never had a lot of space. But these are really impressive to me because I'll bring this picture up and share this with you all. All right. So let's see, let's put us back in there so we can talk a little bit about this. Like you were saying, these are N scale, but look at the detail we've got here. You've got the nice body mounted coupler. You can almost make out the writing on that hitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's tiny.
It is tiny. I had to use my Optivisor to see that. But I mean, you even got the separate handrail there on the other side, your brake assembly. You've got your nice metal wheel sets. Just a great overall car. I mean, I don't, on my personal layout, I don't have anything for this, but there's rumors of some Fremo N happening here at some point, and these might have to find their way on the Fremo N. And now you were saying earlier too that the prototype had a total of 4 hitches, and they could be adjusted depending on what kind of trailer they had. Now, once again, Athearn, we don't just think about the 2 trailers that can fit on here. Here's the one of the hitches. You can see the writing on there, and if you want to simulate a longer trailer, or if you just want to have the hitch down, you've got that option here. We include 2 retracted hitches, and they just pull out. In fact, I think I got a picture of that.
Just water-based glue. It just comes right off.
Yeah, and you just got these little posts here. They just pop right in there, and either way, you can adjust that to how you see fit, and it's just a great little model for the price. I'll probably end up getting some. This is why I don't let my wife listen to our Train Tuesdays.
Probably a good idea.
Speaking of everything, so, guys, like I said, these are everything that we've talked about thus far for the November announcements. The day after Thanksgiving, or Friday the 27th, is the last day to order. So if you've been wanting to order one of the SD70 ACUs, the ICC cabooses, the many Genesis freight cars that we're offering this month, and these N-scale cars, not to mention the Roundhouse cars. I mean, we had a full announcement sheet this month. There's a lot of great stuff in there, but if you wait, you'll miss out, and that is something that I've done.
I remind myself to put an order in for an SD70 ACU.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of the SD70 ACU, let me share something with you guys. We just got a new video that came out, and see if I can play this here for you. All right. Well, that was pretty cool. Kind of gives you an idea of everything that Matt and you and the guys have put into that model. I'd have to say that's probably. What's that, Janet?
When you see the the unpainted sample, you really get an idea for how many different parts go into these things, and also the plastic and the metal and the etchings. You can really see how it all goes together. So it's cool to see that.
It's amazing. You know, we've had some comments of some folks ask on social media, are we going to offer this in undecorated? Not for the time being. And mainly because, I mean, I used to do custom painting on the side for work. Man, you know, in the old days, you just took a locomotive shell off and maybe separated the cab and, you know, take the windows out and you went to go paint it. And that's not so true anymore. Like Janek just said, there's so many parts to this.
Oh yeah.
That man, I don't know.
I would do it, but man, it wouldn't be cheap.
It would definitely be a labor of love, that's for sure. And you know, like you were saying too, I mean, I'm going to have to order at least, I don't think she can hear me, I think maybe 3 of the CP versions. I mean, the CP versions are really cool. And I mean, the Norfolk Southerns look nice too. I mean, but I'm kind of partial to the Canadian Pacific ones just because they did the military versions.
Yeah, and I really like that red. I like how they look in the red scheme. I think it looks sharp with the beaver.
Yeah, it does.
The maroon and gray. I mean, those are really attractive too. So how do you pick one?
That's just it. I mean, how do you pick one? And you know, here's the thing: if you're like Janek and I, you're like, man, which one do I want to do? You've got till Friday to make up your mind, because after Friday, you know, the orders close, and then it's on to the next thing. It's kind of like, you know, ordering a new vehicle from the factory. You have so many dates before the 2020s are gone, and they go into the next year. So this is something that you're going to want to you know, talk to your dealer about sooner than later. And if you're like me and you don't know which one to get, make a decision quick. So yeah, I think you're right, Janek. I mean, they're all really, it's hard to say which one's my favorite. I mean, I like the classic look of the original maroon with the gray and the script writing. I mean, that looks really good. Just their standard scheme, the red with the new beaver logo, I like that. And then you've got the two, you've got the military vehicle type paint scheme and the naval version. So,
right. And there's 3 more coming of the military schemes.
I definitely know which one of the next one I'll get, but we'll talk about that next time. Now, somebody, it's kind of moved on a little bit while we were talking, but somebody had a valid question. They wanted to know, hey, you know, these are great and everything, but why does it take so long for something like this to come together and come back to me? And that's a great question. There's a lot of moving parts, if you will, that go from here to there. Our factories are busy pumping out items that we talked about last year, and sometimes they come in early, but usually it's about a year. And so what we do is we get all the orders in, and then those orders are sent to our manufacturing facility, and they're put together. And I mean, there's so many different things that have to happen. One of the things that, Janek, I know you do is you do a lot of QC on these. They'll have you take a look at a sample and make sure that they've understood all the instructions correctly.
Yeah, that's one of the things I do, Jim. And a lot of the times we don't find anything major, just a couple things here or there. But sometimes there's something that's just, you know, they just missed it. And we tell them, hey, you guys got to go back and fix this. And it's not good for anybody when that happens, because it's, you know, it causes delays inevitably. But it's worth it if we get the models in and they're up to our standards.
Yeah,
is how long it takes to ship this stuff sometimes, and then how long it sits in the port until they get to it, and how long it sits. on the train or on the truck. So there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of moving parts that go into it.
Chris has got a good question. He wants to know, will the SD70 ACU have removable roofs like the SD70 Aces? Yes.
Yes.
Put together with two like rare earth style magnets, yes. And I mean, it comes from the factory really well detailed, as you saw in that video. As you know, though, we're modelers. We can always do a little bit more, and that's a great way to get that project done, is making it so it's easily accessible. Yeah. So, man, I don't know. I keep going in my head, but we've got till Friday. So, decisions.
Yeah, it's
Lots
tough.
of decisions.
It's tough, man. I think I'm going to stick with the basic red one, though. I think I'm going to be different and get the normal one.
Well, yeah, you'll be prepared, and you'll be able to move your freight around a little bit easier without a bunch of rail fans stopping to get pictures of it. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I miss the CP.
I can weather it too, and no one's gonna shame me for it.
Exactly. Oh man, what else am I forgetting about the ACUs? I mean, there was so much in that project. I know Matt. I mean, he just poured his heart and soul into that locomotive, and I know, CP Rail was really, really instrumental into this, to the point where we knew where to put the door latches and the door locks and things of that nature. I mean, what else am I forgetting, Janet?
Well, don't forget about the Norfolk Southern ones too, where they have completely different details. Like I know the PTC is different on the cab roof, and just a whole different body for Norfolk Southern for those rebuilds.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. And I think Matt talked a little bit about it when we talked about this locomotive at the beginning of the month, but it was actually Norfolk Southern that started this. They bought a bunch of SD90s from Union Pacific. They bought some cores, and not Coors drink, cores, meaning old Hulk locomotives.
Yeah.
And they worked with it was Progressive Rail, if I remember right. And this was probably about 2014. And they updated these. They basically, almost like what you would do with a naval vessel, they did a refit and pretty much brought them into the 21st century with Tier 4 standards, emissions, new electronics. The cab, if it looks familiar, it's from the SD70 Ace series. Boy, what else did they do? It wasn't just a simple turnkey type of thing. It was an actual rebuild.
Yeah, Matt was telling me about it one day, and he was just rattling off item after item, and I think I lost track. But like you said, a ground up rebuild. I know one of the big things is that they replaced the inverters with some more modern units that are easier to maintain, easier to replace than the originals. So.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, it's hard to believe. I mean, I remember when the SD90s came out. I remember reading the Trains article magazine about them, and the first thing that my eyes noticed was the dynamic brake, fans, those flares. They were huge. And I mean, that was like a big spotting feature at the time. And, at the time, that was modern technology. This was about 1995. I think I read that article, and where I was living at the time, I wasn't going to see anything like that. But now we're talking. That's not so new technology anymore. But Norfolk Southern, in their wisdom, found a good deal. They rebuilt these locomotives into modern day standards, and they worked so well that CP Rail said, "Hey, let's see what these guys are doing, eh?" And
well, yeah, look there in the comments. Adam Meeks is there.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, hold on. Let's get him up here real quick.
No, it would be Adam, because Adam is CP Rail right there. He's the guy.
That's the guy. So nice. So the Siemens inverters were replaced with the Mitsubishi equipment. So that's good to know. Oops. So that Adam, glad you're here. we had Adam at the beginning of the month, and unfortunately some technical difficulties, internet issues kind of put it to a kind of a rocky go, but we'll have him back at some point. But
Yeah.
Adam, thanks for your help with Matt and the rest of the guys at Athearn for letting us do something that in the past just wasn't possible. I mean, we've talk about being thankful. We've got one of the coolest locomotives here, and SD70 ACU is not done in any scale except for Athearn. So once again, we're up there.
And between you and me, I hope we can do them in N-scale someday.
Man, that would be cool. And I could actually justify those because I have a New England layout. And CP, I get to see a lot of them when I was younger. Yeah, no, it's a great locomotive, and you can see I've got this one here, the one that was in the video behind me. And I think I was telling Ken over the weekend that I'll have this thing on, and where I do all my work for Athearn is right over here. And if I leave it on, it's like sitting down by Galesburg Yard. The sound just sounds amazing with those dual sugar cube speakers, and
it's a big inclusion, especially on the low end of the sound.
Yeah, you're right.
You get more of that bass with the dual cubes.
So with all that research, and all that work, I mean, I know there's some guys out there that are looking at this and like, man, that's really cool. I would love to have a job like that. Maybe you've got a designing background, and you're in luck. Actually, I've got something to share with you guys. I'm gonna move some screens around here. Actually, now I can add that to this again, and let me get to the next picture. So yeah, we're hiring a product manager, the Model Trains Division, Long Beach, California, because that's where Athearn's at. But good to know this is a remote work opportunity. This is kind of something that we're seeing more and more of nowadays in light of current culture and climate. So, if you've got an engineering background, if you're wanting to do something more with model railroading, doing the kind of things that Matt and Janek have done in the past, we want to talk to you. We would love to have somebody on board that has the same passion that we do, that wants to see something that may not be available right now, made available, and it's a really rewarding job because you get to do models that are not out there or maybe just haven't been done in a while that can be updated with new technology. And I know I don't do any engineering of it, but just representing the brand, I know I always feel happy when I see a modeler that picks up something that we've done in the past, and they're happy because they've got the model they want. It's kind of rewarding, isn't it, Janet?
It is, and maybe some of you guys don't have an engineering background per se, but maybe you've done 3D printing or you have done your own model building. That's definitely relevant experience as far as what we're looking for here. Doing your own research, doing your own model building, that all comes into play here. Having a background knowledge of trains is really helpful too.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're interested, just please go to the website you see there. It's www.horizonhobbyllc.com. There's going to be a spot for a link, and you can fill out some information. And I can say, and I think Janet can say, that Horizon and Athearn are great companies to work for. I mean, they allow us to enjoy our passion. I mean, I don't know about Janet. I'm pretty sure about Janet, but I get up every morning ready to go. I'm having fun, even though you still have your emails and your meetings and things of that nature. But we're talking trains. It's not like we're Well,
yeah, on your worst day ever, you're still talking about trains at least. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can wear train shirts. So hey.
One of the things that I always enjoyed was just going through my books and seeing the different locomotives that I wanted to model and seeing the differences. And well, now you can get paid to do that. You can get paid to see that not every single GP7 on Frisco or whatever was not the same, or why does this locomotive have this antenna in 1957 but it doesn't in 77? That type of thing. You get paid to do that kind of research. It's a lot of work, a lot of time investment, but it really is rewarding. And so if you think you've got some qualifications for that, we'd like to talk to you. And like I said, just go over to www.horizonhobbyllc.com and follow the instructions there on filling out that information, and maybe we'll see you on a Train Tuesday. That'd be kind of cool. You need a little box that says this could be you.
This could be you. Yeah, we'll leave it there until the position gets filled.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. And then you and I can bug that new person about our pet projects that we want to do.
Right. We should have listed that as a requirement. Is that you have to put up with Jim and I pestering you for what we want.
And you know what? There's no hiding, because you do West Coast stuff, you do some Midwest stuff, I do East Coast stuff and Midwest, and then both of us kind of do some Canadian stuff, and recently we've done some Mexican stuff. So yeah, there's no hiding.
Yeah.
There's no hiding from our greediness of what we want.
Don't forget the Australian stuff too that we started to do recently. We've really branched out. So
we really have. And I can't say too much, but 2021, I know 2020 has been rough on a lot of guys, but it's been good for the hobby, and it's been good for a lot of things. So I'm really looking forward to 2021, because we've got some great things in store for everybody out there that I think you guys are going to like. So yeah, like I said, get on the website, fill out the app, and we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, all the information's there on the link, and if you got questions, go check it out there. Should give you all the information that you need.
So Janek, I know you've been busy too. You've got some things going on, and not only that, well, you're out in Long Beach. You work with some great guys, and those guys are modelers too, aren't they?
Yes, it's true. A lot of my friends are model railroaders, and I'm lucky that sometimes when Jim asks me for stuff, I'm like, I don't really have anything. But let me talk to my friends. I'm sure they've got something. So they came through for me this week. My friend and coworker Dave was down at the club, and he shot some really good shots of those SP commute locomotives in passenger service. So I guess the story was that they were short on power, and so they just borrowed a unit from the commute pole to get this train over the hill. So there you go.
That's nice. I'm jealous of your club that you guys have out there.
Man,
great shots.
You should have seen it a couple years ago. This was just plywood, and then it was just foam. They've really come a long way with the scenery, and you see that really nice signal mast there. We've got signals now. They don't work yet, but they're there, so that's half the battle.
Nice close-up shot at the station. Beautiful.
At the station with the mile marker push pin, which someday we'll replace with an actual sign.
So you guys are doing actual operations then?
Yeah, actually, we run DTC sometimes, and we have blocks with names, and so we'll have the dispatcher giving out block authority and taking it away and setting up meets and all that. It's cool when it works. Yeah.
Well, there's some signals that work.
Yeah. Well, they turn on, but they don't.
Okay.
They don't actually react to whatever you're doing. This signal right here probably wouldn't be green in real life.
Probably not.
But yeah, nice shot of the GP9 there. You see all the nice detail it has. Passenger service units, usually assigned to the Bay Area commute pole, but they wound up on other trains as well when they were needed. So Here's a case of that.
Still a really cool paint scheme. I think I'm a closet Southern Pacific fan because that is just, it's a striking paint scheme. They hit a lot of striking paint schemes. They really did.
They really did.
And, you know, and I don't think I've ever shared with you, Janek, my all-time favorite locomotive is the GS4, which was Southern Pacific. So, you know, it was just a beautiful locomotive. And Southern Pacific, they just did it with some class. They did it with some style. It was really nice.
They did, at least in the earlier years, 40s, 50s, and 60s, definitely.
Well, that's cool. Thanks for bringing those on board and showing us. And, you know, as we go on in this, we're getting better at this. I hope you guys are seeing the improvements that Janek and I are doing behind the scenes. But as we go into 2021, maybe we can see some more of, you know, fellow Athearn employees working at the layout, maybe doing some operations and stuff. And I know myself, I would like to see that. I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere out here. So definitely. Well, you know, I've had a busy week too. I was playing around with this SD70 ACU, and I also
shrink it down.
What's that?
You're trying to shrink it down?
You know, yeah, it's tempting, but I don't know. Shrinking it down proportionally is the hard part. You know, you don't want it to look too cartoonish. So
Yeah, the same. Yeah, that's not easy.
But I did notice as I was doing some work, doing some of the social media stuff throughout the week, speaking of N-Scale, I didn't want to disappoint you guys. We do have some N-Scale stuff that's in stock that you may have missed. These here, I'm going to bring these up a little bit. I didn't get any pictures of them because they just came in. These are the UP ballast cars. They're that interesting green. I know there's a term for it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Do you know, Janet?
I'm gonna butcher the guy's name. It was Kenefic, or it started with a K, and it was.
That's right.
It was named after him. Maintenance. He was used for maintenance and waste service equipment.
Yeah. Okay. Now that you say it, I remember that because we did a caboose in that color.
Right. Yeah, we did.
So, if you need these for your N-Scale UP layout, these are part number ATH1762. They are on our website as we speak, and you can contact your dealer to order those for you. Go through your regular online retailer, and if you still can't find anybody, you can always go to athearn.com and order. And speaking of those, these might actually somehow end up on my layout, but the RJ Corman ones, these are cool. These are in stock too.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of neat because they're that nice, you know, cherry red with a big white lettering and stuff. They look really, really good. And these part number is ATH1866. Again, these are in stock, and you know, if you want to pick those up, by all means, go ahead and talk to your dealer today. And there's a dangerous part about this job that I didn't mention earlier. Should I say it? I don't want to scare anybody off.
That's probably better to give them a whole.
We should probably be upfront and honest. I mean, there is one thing about this job, whether you know, if you work for Athearn, there's one thing that you got to be aware of. It's one way of being entrapped, if you will. And it's definitely harder on you and probably more painful if you're married or you have a significant other. It's you can get stuff, and you buy stuff, and I buy stuff, and
a lot more stuff than if you might buy otherwise.
Yeah. And so I had to pick up this week. I picked it up.
Ooh,
I got a Norfolk and Western GP7. And of course I got the Genesis one. GP7s, GP9s, GP18, some of my favorite. And the people out there that know me are like, you know, that's blue, but that's not Boston and Maine blue. That's not, you know, Maine Central, Bangor and Rustic. So what's up with that? So long story short, when I moved to Illinois about 22 years ago, and I still sounded like Adam Sandler. I lived in a small town that was right next to a Norfolk Southern line. And me being the type of guy that likes to research and look up history and such, I did a little bit of research on the line, and it was the former Wabash. And I just thought the Wabash paint scheme, the original imitation aluminum and gray and blue, I just thought that was the coolest scheme. So, coming from where I had come from, where at the time was dark gray and orange Guilford rusted equipment, I'll just auto Wabash, that's kind of cool. And the more research I did on the Wabash, the more I learned about it. And then they simplified their paint scheme, which a lot of railroads did at the time. And we've offered the GP7s in the Genesis line in that simplified blue scheme. And it's a really cool scheme. And I almost ordered that one. But the thing with it is I'm building this project layout that's going to end up behind me here. And my cutoff date is going to be pretty much the 70s, up to modern day. So Wabash really wouldn't make it into the 70s. In fact, I think it's time for a shout out. Can anybody tell me what year the Wabash became the Norfolk and Western? First person to give me the answer gets a shout out. Janek's like, I know this.
I read the diesel era. Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Oh, I think we got one. Because I just read about this. It was not 1968. We're going to go a little earlier than that.
I was reading about GP35s, and so they were talking about that was the locomotives that they were buying at the time of the merger. So that's why I remember.
So DTM 56. You get the shout out for having the first correct answer. Yes, same year that we also were blessed with the British invasion. It's a good year. Not a great year if you were a Wabash fan, but the Norfolk and Western came about. And what we've done with these locomotives, we've offered the GP7s, the three of them in the Wabash simple paint scheme. But this one here is actually a former Wabash unit, which we sell. So you can get it as it appeared before the merger, or you can get it as it appeared in the 1970s. When you open this up, it comes with the RFID tag that you can put on the sill to make it, proper 1970s. And I thought, what? If I'm going to do this project layout, a switching layout, I live within 8 miles of where the old Wabash main line is. It'd be kind of cool to have something that maybe roamed the rails in the next town over. So
it would be.
That's
Well, N&W is cool because you think of N&W, oh yeah, they're just black, no big deal. But when you start to look at the paint schemes, you got the hamburger logo, you got the Norfolk and Western spelled out. They were blue for a little bit, then they went back to black. Then they had the large NW on the side. There's a lot of variation there to talk about.
Forget the hamburger logo. I always like the hamburger logo. In fact, the town that's next door to me, they still have an old beat up, rusted metal Norfolk and Western Hamburg sign down by the tracks. I wanted to get a picture of it so I could show you guys, but did not get a chance. And I did see a comment out there. Where'd it go? You guys are commenting pretty good today. I missed it, but there was a comment. Oh, here we go. Terry Peterson. I'm going to put you up here real quick because I like your comment. He says, I go for 65-ish to 91-ish. Yeah. So we've talked about it a little bit in the past. We're going to be working on a project layout, probably hitting it hardcore after the first of the year. But just a real simple switching HL scale layout. And it's not going to be just Norfolk and Western. It's going to be pretty much anywhere United States / Canada. And that way, when new stuff comes out, you're not just seeing a picture of it. We're actually going to run it. You can see it up close and personal. So,
that'll be a lot better than just seeing a picture. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially if we can't make it to a show. Brian McGinnis, I like your last name. Are the GP7Us coming soon? Isn't it December, Janek? Late December?
Yeah, Brian, if you go look on the website, you should be able to see the estimated date on there. In fact, I'll go do it right now since we're here.
Yeah, I was going to say, while you're looking that date up, I'm going to get the railfan camera going. I want to say I saw late December, so you might not have too long to wait.
Yeah, I've already seen samples of them, so usually that means they're a month or two away.
Yeah, it usually doesn't take too long after that.
Let's see here. See if the old website works this time or not.
And I was feeling particularly cold today, Janek, so I figured we'd go to Barstow, see if I could warm up.
It's probably very nice weather in Barstow at this time of year. It's a great time of year. So yeah, I'm showing that these are. The website says out of stock. Now you take that with a grain of salt. What that usually means is that they've come in and then they shipped out to dealers already. It doesn't mean that we don't have any or there aren't any available. It means that all the ones, the small amount that we have available are sold out, but dealers have theirs. And if you ordered one, you should get in touch with your dealer about that on the GP7Us.
And no week would be a Train Tuesday week if we didn't have our weekly reminder.
I saw that there, yes.
Where you haven't forgotten you.
It's interesting too. One of the ideas we had for shirts, we were thinking about different logos that we could use, Amtrak logos, Surfliner logos. I know we were talking about that. So
Yeah.
maybe if we ever do Surfliner cars, we can do matching shirts as well.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, just another idea. I saw another comment out there. Let's see. Might have already gone away, but somebody was asking about the banner behind me. What do you think, guys? I mean, I know, some of us car guys will have a sign in our garage, that says whatever vehicle we have or something like that. What do you think about your layout room? What's something that you'd like to see in your layout room? Would you like to see a banner like this, or what about a sign?
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts. Give us your ideas. We're really willing to come out with some new products this coming year, and not just locomotives and freight cars. We're hoping to get some other stuff because there's always something that you need on the workbench or at the layout or at a show.
Hey, I see a couple comments I wanted to reply to. A normal rail fan at 222 wants to know, is there any possibility of seeing a rerun of the UP Heritage SC70 Aces with PTC anytime in the near future? Well, a normal rail fan, I don't know what you consider to be the near future, but I would consider that to be 3-4 months in the future from now, and I say that you're going to be pleased. You're going to be pleased with what happens, so stay tuned for that.
There we go. Passion. Yeah, this is one that we had from probably one of our train shows, maybe even Train Fest, I don't know. And since we're not working in the office anymore, some things have come to our new offices.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I see something on the horizon.
Yeah, they just zoomed out, so we can't see it anymore,
but yeah, if that's something that you guys like, banners, stickers, and we're going to be doing some 75th anniversary stuff too. I know some guys like myself use the tackle boxes for all of our tools when we go to our shows with, you need all those tools.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's something to think about, but yeah, let us know. We're actively wanting to help you guys out.
So Chad Weaver at 222. He was asking, will the CP SDACUs have the correct PTC antenna farms? Yes, Chad, the CP units will have antennas that are specific to the Canadian Pacific version. Norfolk Southern is specific to that version.
Just Into Trains asks, I really like the shirt you had on the What's Neat show. Will those be available soon? Well, the funny thing is, originally we were just kind of doing those for, myself and Matt and Janek. Like, it'd be kind of cool to show those when we show this locomotive off, but they've actually been a hit. So be looking for those probably at the beginning of the year. We're going to start selling those.
Cool. You better send one my way.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I hope when I do, it doesn't take as long as one of the packages I ordered.
Yeah.
We have to be patient, I think, sometimes with everything going on in our friends out there in the postal and delivery agencies.
So it looks like the request of the day is the Frisco 1522. I don't know what's so special about that, but it seems like a lot of people are interested in it. I've seen 3 comments. So Jim, you know anything about that one?
I don't know a lot about that one. I know a little bit about it, but that's about it. But it's something that might, if we're getting some comments on it, it looks like something we need to look into a little bit.
I mean, anything's worth looking into if people are asking for it. I'm pretty sure it's a steam engine, probably one that's still running if people are asking for it. I'm going to be doing a little of my own research on that one after this video.
Let's see. Paul Amos is saying, hey, straight GP38s, 39s, 40s. So many roads, so many rebuilds possible. You are correct.
Not wrong, Paul.
We definitely hear you. Which is why, at the risk of me sounding like William Shatner, we need a designer. Come on board.
If you want to see GP40s, GP38s, I mean, there's your chance.
Exactly. One of the biggest problems, Janek, and I think this is true. I mean, wouldn't you say our biggest hindrance is time? It's just, the time to get everything done. There's so many good comments that we get from our customers out here, and they're all great ideas. We're railroaders, we love the ideas, but it's looking at the time.
Not enough hours in the day. Whoever decided that there's only going to be 24, man, that's not enough. We need more.
Here's a good question, and Janek, I think you might know the answer to this one because I know we did something special for the UP Big Boy. Whoops, sorry, wrong one. There we go. Are the CP military units going to come in some kind of commemorative box like the ones for Norfolk Southern 6920 and UP 1943?
Good question, and we are still trying to figure that out. We talked about it amongst ourselves. There were some people that wanted to do it. There were some people that were saying, but this and this. But we thought about it. I mean, let us know what you guys think. We did special boxes, like you said, on some of those prior units. And maybe it's because I live under a rock, but I've never heard anybody say anything one way or the other about the boxes, whether they liked them or hated them or what. So let us know in the comments what you guys think, if you like those boxes or not, and we'll go from there.
Definitely. And I've had a few requests for some different models in N scale. And again, it's one of those things where time, because as a fellow N-scaler myself, yes, I'd love to see some SD40-2s or some STP45s or something of that nature. But again, it comes down to time, and it comes down to, resources and things of that nature. But don't keep giving us ideas. We like these ideas, and believe us, there's going to be some happy people, which reminds me, the reason why they're going to be happy is they're going to show up here on Friday. Friday, Yeah, at 3:30, we've got our announcements for the month of December. And I think it's fair to say, Janek, we're going to have some pretty happy people that day.
We usually do when it's the new announcement day. So I saw a comment on there, NS6770 fan. He wants more Penzi power. Are you sure you don't want more NS power? But no, I mean, yeah, Penzi is great. We just did some ST40s in RTR, so I don't know if you saw those, but they've been out for a little while now. But more Jeep 7 and 9s, yeah, more F units. We had a ton of those. So more Penzi stuff, definitely. We'll think about that.
Yeah, there was one comment or question for a locomotive. I can't find him, and he's just tinging me here on the side. He's like, "Hey, did you see me?" And I've lost him already. So I'm not ignoring you. It's just there's a lot of comments coming through. We do try to get as many as we can, and I apologize. It looks like that went into the great abyss. So if feel free to ask that question again if I don't see it, and I'll try to catch it and we'll throw it up there, and maybe myself or Janek will have an answer for you. But it was for a specific Norfolk Southern locomotive, so something that you would probably know the answer to, Janek, and want to make sure.
Let me take a look and see if I can.
Yeah.
Find it again. You know if it was before the Penzi comment?
I believe so. It was a while ago, so it probably. I'm looking too. So.
All right. Well, while you look, I'll just answer a couple of the other ones on here.
Yeah, go for it.
More Chessie GP40-2s, Paul Amos. Yeah, I hear you on that one. You can't talk about Chessie without talking about 40-2s and vice versa. I like your suggestion on the 44-47. We will look into that one. I saw a request for more NKT locomotives. I'm definitely in for more of that stuff, and I would like to. I'm gonna be careful with my word choice here. I would like to improve the consistency of our MKT green. I've heard the MKT guys talking about the green. I know that they're frustrated with it sometimes. They don't like it, depending on what locomotive it was. So we're going to try and get that nailed down going forward. And then I saw a couple people asking about SW1500s. Are they coming back? When are they coming back? Can you guys do this road name? All right, so yeah, they've been out of the line for a little while. We wanted to make some upgrades, some improvements to that model, and I think I said this last week too. So it's in the works. It's not happening quickly. It is happening, and the 1500s will make a triumphant return eventually. I don't know when. I can't say for sure right now, but it is being worked on.
I think I found it, Janek.
Oh, sure.
From CSX GE ET44AC. He wants the NS ST70 ACC.
Okay.
That's something that I thought was probably more up your alley with your designing ability.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. They did the yellow main painted locomotive for the ST70 ACC. I'm not too familiar with that program. Something inside me is saying that they were converting ST70s into ST70 ACCs. I'm not sure if they're still doing that or what the future of that program is. I have no idea. So if anybody knows, feel free to let us know more in the comments.
Yeah, to kind of follow up with your comment on the MKT, David comes back. He says, color wasn't bad, just a bit too dark. But the first run of GP39-2s was the best. And David, thanks for commenting. One of the things that is really hard is, when we're working on something like the ST70 ACU, we have the ability to actually see the paint. that they're painting these locomotives. Whereas we go back into the past for a railroad that's a fallen flag. Some of these railroads have been gone for 60 years or more. And so it's kind of hard sometimes to find the right colors. And we do go out, we work with a lot of historical societies. We work with a lot of people that are experts in their field. And inevitably, you're going to have somebody say, this is the right color for this locomotive. And then when we release it, somebody's going to say, no, it's not. And sometimes that's subject for debate. But regardless, we still want to make sure that your experience is, a happy experience. So that being said, anytime you hear about one of our announcements and they're like, oh, great, they're going to release my favorite locomotive from a railroad that's been gone for 60 years, but I'm really passionate about, and you want to, make sure that the color is right, go ahead and contact us. Let us know. There's guys out there that work for the railroads that might have a paint chip or a sample or something. We really do want to give you the best modeling experience, and it's really hard with some of these older railroads. And David's comment's actually a great comment. That helps a lot, doesn't it, Janet?
Well, like you said, Canadian Pacific sent us the actual paint chips and codes for their SD70 ACUs. Whereas with other railroads, there may or may not be paint available that matches what was being used, or there may be disagreement within modelers about what is the correct color for a given time.
So here's a good, on that same vein of thought, Mopac Productions with Janek and Jim 1522.
I'm a sponge for this stuff, guys. The more I know about this stuff, the better. So feel free to send it my way. Send it over to help@outher.com, or if you've got my email, you can send it there. So yeah, definitely.
We appreciate all the help, and again, it just comes back to we're modelers too. If somebody offered us a Southern Pacific or Boston to Maine locomotive and it was not quite right, we wouldn't be happy either. We want to make sure your experience is a good one, and sometimes we need some help. Where these railroads have long since been forgotten in some cases, it makes the job that much harder. And trust me, Janek puts a lot of time into the research for every single locomotive and freight car release.
Well, sometimes I wish I could put more.
It's never enough, is it? I mean, it's like one of those things. I know from my own experience, custom painting. You find that one locomotive you want to paint, and you research it. You buy the books. You buy remember Bob's Photo Service, and you buy those photos, and you look on the internet, and you do all these things, and you get it all done, and you take it to your club, and you'd have that one guy. It's like, hey, man, that's a great job, but did you know the pilot's actually blue, not white? That one picture, you just couldn't find to substantiate that. And
yeah,
that's just one of the things that we have to face. I mean, especially with Janek.
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks, Paul Amos, for the info on and thank you everyone else for the info on the SD70 ACCs. Jake Casey is asking how much this designer position is going to pay. I don't think we're advertising a pay rate right now. That depends on your qualifications and how things go in the interview. I mean, from what I know, it's a living wage, and it's decent for the field. So if you're interested, I would encourage you to apply, and then those discussions could happen in the future.
And, really, one of the benefits too is if you're middle-aged or older, and you're kind of you've got kids in school, things of that nature, you don't have to uproot anything. This is a job that we're letting you work remotely, so that's a huge benefit. I don't know about you, Janek, but for me, I got hired on in the middle of the pandemic, and so I literally work with people here in Illinois that I have not met personally yet. Haven't seen them in person yet, but working from home definitely has its benefits. It allows us, I think, to work on things a little bit more intense than we would at the office. And I don't know about you, but I don't get the interruptions that I would being in an office with everybody else around.
And you can't beat the commute, especially around here. I was averaging half an hour each way to work, which is considered short for this area. And sometimes even that got on my nerves. So
that's a good point. So you save some money in gas and insurance, and
yeah, definitely. So it's 2:40. What do you think? You want to take a couple more comments and
I think a few more, and I think we'll call it good. And I want to remind everybody again, we're going to be here Friday at 3:30. So after you've had Turkey Day, come on back. We've got some great things to share with you. Until then, don't forget what's also important that day. That's your last day to get some cool stuff in and ordered with your dealer. But
that's right. We had a request there. B. Myers, he wants some Alaskan CSX ST70 Max with flared radiators. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. There's a model that hasn't been made in plastic, so that'd be a good one. Yeah, I'd be interested in that one for sure.
That would be a cool one. Here's one. James wants to know, how about a Montana RailLink STP40?
How about an anything STP40? Yeah, that would be cool.
It would be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, I personally like those KCS ones in the Southern Bell scheme.
Yes. Kenneth has a really good question. We covered it a couple of weeks ago, but it bears repeating. Where can I order parts for my HO engines, like handrails for the SD45? Well, Athearn.com and through your dealer. We have a really good parts system online, don't we, Janet?
Yeah, well, it has a lot of the common parts on there: motors, wheels, couplers, trucks. Something like a handrail set, that's a little bit more specific. It depends on what SD45 you're talking about. You can give them an email, parts@athearn.com, and that'll be your best way forward there.
Question from Emmett. How about anything AC 4400 CW?
Well, I know when Matt was on here talking about the Dash 9s, he did not make it a secret that the AC 4400s are being worked on. So I don't have a timeline for those either, but I can tell you they're being worked on. I'm not sure we'll do any paint scheme. We'll probably stick with the prototypical ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
At least for the first couple of runs.
Well, let's see. We're going to take one more and then we'll call it a night.
Yeah, sounds good. Why don't you find one you like there?
There's so many. I mean, you guys out there have got great comments and questions, and this is what makes this, Train Tuesday so enjoyable. We like hearing from you. Let's see. Well, we got an SP fan. Let's see. I'm trying to get something out there that hasn't been asked before.
I hate watching this camera, man. It really makes me want to go out there right now.
Yeah, it's kind of
beautiful right now.
Kind of all over the place. Here's something that's interesting.
Perfect weather.
Can you do a Grand Trunk Western SD40-2?
Can we do it? I think we can. I think we have the right parts. Will we do it? Nah, probably not.
You never know what's going on. If you only knew what was coming up on Friday, that would be, but it's going to be here before you know it. So, like I said, Friday at 3:30 Central Time, we'll be coming up here and showing you guys what we're going to be doing for the month of December. Now, one thing to keep in mind, what we'll have is we'll have the PDFs for all the new stuff in December available on the website. So if you can't make it to the live version of this, or maybe you're only interested in one or two different things, you can see it at athearn.com. We've since fixed the website, so we shouldn't have that issue again. Yeah. And then the other thing too is, man, it's another great packed announcement month. I mean, there's some great stuff, a little bit of some old stuff, a little bit of some new stuff, railroads from across the country. So there's a little bit for everything in December, and
yeah, there really is.
Sure to tune in. You know, why go Black Friday shopping when you can hang out with us, talk trains? I mean, I don't like crowds, and with everything going on these days, I don't think it's safe.
No, man, it's better just to stay home, I would say.
Stay home, see some cool trains, and talk to us about stuff, and you know, something else that we want to do with the a lot of states right now are seeing some more restrictions because of the pandemic. So a lot of us, for various reasons, whether it be our own personal health or because of our state's restrictions, we're stuck at home. Yeah. And you know what, the guys at Athearn, we're no different. I know Illinois is really strict right now. I maybe leave the house once a week. And Janek, I know California is really tough right now too. Yeah. So we want to see what you guys are working on. We want to see what you're got on your layout. We want to see what you guys are working on, and start reaching out to us. Contact us through Facebook. Show us what you're rail fanning. Show us what you're working on.
We're going to be coming up with some giveaways,
right?
That kind of thing too. You know,
that's right. You know, hopefully by Friday I'll have some guidelines down for you guys. But we are going to be doing something for the holidays, and there's going to be a giveaway. So we're going to be doing a holiday-themed photo contest with your layouts. Thanks. So get started on that, and we're going to select a winner, and they might get something really cool.
I'm probably exempt from that contest, right?
No, you get a pass because you always have the cool T-shirts.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, what do you say, Janek?
Well, I say I want to go to Barstow now, but
I do too.
No, thanks guys for all the great suggestions. There was a lot of Grand Trunk Western suggestions in there. I think we need more of that stuff. And no, it doesn't have to be a layout for this contest. You know, we'll have more details coming up, but you know, just something where it's photographed with a backdrop and with scenery. That's what we're going to be looking for, right, Jim?
Yeah, we're looking for the feel, you know, and there's a couple of different things we're looking for, you know. What this time of year, it's just kind of nostalgic for trains, you know, for a lot of reasons. You know, what got you into the hobby? This is a good time of the year to be reflective on what got us into the hobby. So try to capture that feel in your photographs. You know, try to tell a story. It can be in a module, like we said earlier. It can be in a layout. It can even be just a little tiny, you know, diorama if you're
definitely. Yep. Yeah.
So, you know, let's see what you guys have, and we'll get some stuff together. And if you're looking for some neat stuff to put on the layout, maybe a freight car or two, or maybe even a locomotive, let's fire up those cameras, fire up the, we want to see your creativity, because again, I only get to see Janek once a week. And it's usually for Train Tuesdays.
I'm not that creative, so I'm sure you guys are a lot more creative than me.
Well, I think you're creative. I think you're just so busy with looking up all that information that you probably don't have as much time as you would normally.
I'm happy to have a job. Let's leave it at that. So.
Yeah. Well, we're both happy that we've got a great job because, you know, Athearn is a great company to work for. Ken Patterson says it so many times on his show. It is the greatest hobby in the world, and I agree. Yeah. Until then, to everybody out there, thanks for showing up today. Thanks for spending some time with us and talking trains. I know we are having a kind of different Thanksgiving this year, but we still have a lot to be thankful for. So, you know, have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great day just relaxing and spending Thanksgiving in your own way. To our Canadian brothers and sisters up north, I know you had your Thanksgiving last month. But enjoy your time as well. We will see all of you on Friday, the 27th at 3:30. And until then, I want you all to have a happy, great week, a happy Thanksgiving. Stay happy, stay healthy. And from Illinois, signing off, high greens, everybody.
Stay safe out there, guys.